Alright, hey guys, it's Shah here at the Tech Borg. And today's video we're going to be looking at types in Java. We're not be doing too much difficult work today. We're just going to be looking again at the types in Java. So we have primitive and non-primitive types in Java, and particularly the more important ones we do care about would be Boolean, long, float, double, and int, of course, as that's used very commonly. So those are the key primitive types. Of course, we have byte and char as well. For non-primitive, we have string, array. So I put etc there because we can have many types of these arrays as well. Like there's a lot of different non-primitives, but these are the key ones. String and array are the key non-primitives that you end up using in your college one day. So that's key. Okay, so how do we declare each one of these things? So Boolean. So let's just look at the key one. So Boolean can be very simply set up at like so. So Boolean x. Let's call it x. Doesn't have to be anything pretty. Boolean x is equal to true. That's it. So this is how you set up true in Java. In Python, a lot of you may know true as being uppercase true with uppercase T, sorry. And that's the difference between the Java version and the Python version. And what you might notice in Java especially is that when you're declaring a variable, you must declare its type. Java needs to know the type of a variable at runtime. Sorry, at compile time. My bad, it's compile time. Java must know the value of the variable, the type is, at compile time, and that's very important because you need to declare the fact that this x is a boolean. So let's look at another example that might give us an error if it were to be compiled. A equals 10. So do you notice how this a is red? So if you're using if you're using the same IDE I am using here, you will see this a very similar error pop up. So cannot resolve simple a. It doesn't know what a is. It's trying to make this local variable, but it doesn't know what type it is. So how can we give it a type? Well, clearly it's just 10, right? So integer is enough to fix this error. So as you can see, we've declared an integer that's called a, and we've set the value to be, or assigned its value to be 10. Okay, now what we're going to do is we're going to make another primitive type. Let's just call it double. So double of x, or y, sorry, is equal to 100 point all these numbers, and there you go, we've declared double. And again, the difference between double and an int, if you're not aware, is double is a decimal, of course, and int is a whole number. And what's the difference between double and float, you might be thinking? Double has twice as much precision as float. What that means is we can have a value that's much more accurate in terms of decimal places, which is very important when you're doing programming assignments maybe that require mathematics. Having such levels of precision, I guess, helps out. Anyways, now let's look at declaring some non-primitive types, and I think you'll notice easily that these are in fact non-primitive because of one very minor difference between the way we declare these. So I'm going to declare a string now. So string b is equal to hello. Okay, so what do you notice the difference between here and here is? I think I can see it quite clearly. First of all, this ID is nice enough, of course, to highlight the fact that these are primitive types. Exactly. This ID is nice enough, and I guess Java in general, the way the language has been designed is that this first letter over here kind of determines whether it's a primitive or non-primitive. Non-primitive just means it's an object. Remember, Java is all object-oriented programming. Whenever you have a capital letter of the type you're declaring, it's an object. So this string isn't a primitive, it's an object. It's because it's the combination of characters. Okay, so now we've declared a string here, and again, the key thing you want to notice, well, assuming you're using the same IDE I am, is that this is colored. First of all, this is white, and this is colored. It's colored orange. So you can clearly tell that's a primitive, and this is a non-primitive. That's the first indicator. Another indicator would be looking at the first letter. Do you see how this is uppercase and this is lowercase? Another indicator. Okay, let's declare an array now. So Java has a really interesting concepts with arrays, of course, as usual. Java is interesting. So how do we think about creating these arrays? So array, we're gonna say it's an array list. So let's so array list is slightly different to an array, but for the purpose of this video, we're just trying to show you the type. So we're just trying to keep it to a simpler level. So array list is basically an array, but you can dynamically add contents to it. Basically, just think about it that way. So I'm gonna declare an array that contains strings, right? And I'm gonna call this array my array. And right, so I think you notice a lot of key differences really between the way we declare array or array list in Java versus Python. So This is how you declare an array in Java. So clearly what you can see is that what we've done here is we've done array list string. So what we're saying is here's array list. So think about an array list in your brain. Then think about it taking the type of string. So what we're saying is within these arrows you want to put in the type of string. And then what we're doing is we're saying make a new array list. That's what we're saying, very simply. So that's how you make an array list in Java, at least. And right, there we go. The arrows were the wrong way. That's why I was getting the error in orange. So the good thing about this IDE is that it will show you these errors really well before you even press that compile button over here, and before you even run the code. So the best thing is you know the errors beforehand. So if I run this, it's not going to show anything apart from hello world, because we haven't actually printed any of these values. So let's try and print some of these values to see what happens. Now because our array list is empty, it's gonna have nothing inside of it. So for now I'm just gonna quickly show you how to add stuff. Again, I'll make a full video on how to actually use arrays as a whole, but for now I'm just trying to keep it straightforward. So let's just add hi for now. So let's print all of these things. So system.out.println, we're gonna print x. Okay, I'm just gonna copy and paste all of these things just to make it easier for myself, like so. So we have a, we have y over here, we have b, and we have my array. Okay, so I guess what might be nice is if you pause the video and think what it could output. Will it output the values I set it to be, or will it output something weird, like maybe the memory location of these things? So maybe it's something for you to have a look into. So well, think about when you pause the video. So let's run this. So if we run this, it's going to obviously do all the building for you, and it's going to print it all. So as you can see, it's printed everything for you. It's printed exactly what we've entered into the system. And I think what's important, what you should take into in here is that even though we've set it of the type integer, even though we've said that this is a Boolean, it's successfully converted all of these things into strings. Why is it doing that? Think about it. It's doing that because Java has something called a toString method. So it's called toString method. It's a built-in method that comes and takes whatever value you're giving it and converts it to a string for you. You can override this toString, but let's not worry about that. The point I'm trying to get across is Java is powerful enough to convert these primitive and non-primitive types into strings. So for example, an array, you can't just print an array, can you? Surely. Well, no, you can now, because Java, what they've done successfully is that they have looped through all the values we've added to the array, and they've managed to toString it. So as you can see, it says hi. It doesn't have speech marks, but it says hi, and it's in square brackets. The square brackets represent the fact that it's in an array list. Very important. Okay, so that's the power of array lists in Java, at least. There is a lot more to Java than meets the eye, and also Java is pretty much twice as fast as Python, by the way, once you compile the code, which is what makes it cool. And I personally enjoy Java much more than Python. So let me know what you guys think of Java. Again, so what we covered in this video is primitive and non-primitive types. We've said that primitive types would show up as very colorful in our IDE. We've also noticed that this first letter would be uppercase within our Java code if it's a non-primitive type. So that's the key points in this video. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, I will be making a lot more videos now as I am free from my university submissions. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, like, comment, subscribe. See you soon.